Here we go then, racing once more for the first round of the Rotax Max Euro Challenge, and it's time for the seniors to head off on their formation lap as they work their way now down towards the first corner. The green flag has been given, and after the pre-final earlier on today, this is how the grid has been set. Our Winter Cup winner, Nicolas Scholl, is going to be starting from the best place on the grid. Pole position is where he is, 216, and alongside him on that front row, making an appearance once again here this weekend in Belgium, is Gary Donnelly. So watch out for those two. On to row 2, we then see a storming ride in that pre-final to get himself up to third. That is Glenn Van Parijs, and alongside him is going to be the Brit Sam Marsh. Again, watch out for him. He has been really strong throughout the heats yesterday, making up a good 6 or 7 places in the majority of his races. Back on row 3 is Charlie Turner, and of course last year's junior champion Jack McCarthy, managing to grab a quick word with him on the grid. And then back on row 4 is going to be Luke Verlelms and Adrian Renadam. Row 5 inside the top 10 for both Josh White and Josh Skelton. And then further back on row number 6 we have Ed Brand, who normally goes well at this track, but he has struggled back in the senior kart this weekend after being in DD2s for the Winter Cup. Kay Van Berlo, brother to Glenn, is there on row number 6. Then back on row 7 we see Felix Varga here on his home track in Belgium, and Josh Collins lines up on the outside. Back on row 8 is going to be Tommy Drouet and Daniel Vogt. Row 9 is headed by Rinus van Kamphout and David Remy. Row 10 then sees Jess Backman, who again was in a few places where she shouldn't have been in that pre-final, so finds herself 19th, but looking to get inside the top 5 in this one. And Filip Votjevic is there on the outside. Back on row 11 it's Casper Corjus and Noah Ruvers. Not the best of pre-finals for Noah, again on his home circuit. Row 12 sees Dennis Mavlinov and Ruud Bergerdink. Row 13 lines up with Hugo Cruikshank and Nico Leightonham. Row 14 sees Charlie Anderson with Jordan Brown-Nutley. Row 15 Roman Jaloux and Berke Besler. Row 16 is Lars van Varg and Lucas Bryan. And back on row 17 we see Christopher Dreespring and Paul Evrad to round out 34 starters once again in what should be a very eventful final race for the seniors here at round 1 of the 2016 championship. Watch out as well for Jordan Brown-Nutley, comes from that 14th row. He was a double heat winner on Saturday, and of course he was with brake problems after that pre-final, so it's not good for him. He only scores probably around about 6 or 7 points after that one. And then of course you've got Berke Besler, who again was also in strife in that previous race, but they should all be ready, set to go. Coming down towards the final corner now, and let's see who can make the best start on this occasion. The race will be over a distance of 17 laps, again just under 20 minutes of racing for these seniors, if all goes well. And we'll see who can come out on top and score the maximum points of 55 for this first round. Very nicely through the final corner they come, up towards the start-finish grid hatchings. They'll go through very evenly, and they'll get ready to go racing now. Lots of bumping and boring, and we do get underway, although there was a few out in place towards the back. There was a just misjudged the start down towards the first corner. There's a spinner, and that's from the first 3 roads. That could be either our champion from last year, Jack McCarthy, or Charlie Turner. One of those has gone missing. We've got still up there Glenn Van Parijs, and the ones that we have lost I will confirm for you very shortly, but the leader is on his way, and that could even be possibly Gary Donnelly from the front of the grid there. It's hard to tell which Strawberry Racing kart it was, but it is going to be Nicolas Scholl that leads the way. Glenn Van Parijs is up to 2nd place at the end of the back straight, and into 3rd place has come, by the looks of it, I'm not too sure there, 254, is Felix Varga. Felix from the 7th row of the grid is up into 3rd place. What a start. He managed to stay out of all the dramas down at turn number 1, and look at this from Glenn Van Parijs, already trying to challenge his not teammate, but one of his kind of rivals in this championship as they go through the last corner on this first lap. So they both go through on towards the start of lap number 2, and we'll try and work out what did in fact happen at that first corner and who it was with. As down the inside line, a massive lunge from Felix Varga, nearly took out cleanly there Nicolas Scholl, but he gets through to 2nd place, but that was a bit of argy-bargy in towards that first corner on lap number 2. It does mean that up to the lead has gone Glenn Van Parijs. Felix Varga is 2nd. 3rd is going to be Nicolas Scholl. 4th place then for Gary Donnelly. 5th place, what a start as well from Ed Brand, again from lower down the field. He's finally made that one work in the final race of the weekend for the seniors. So he's there in 5th place, and Sam Marsh has dropped back, in fact. One of the best positions of the weekend as Felix Varga goes for the lead of the race down the inside of Glenn Van Parijs, who gets shuffled out wide. Ed Brand's going to try and come through on the outside at turn number 8, which he does just about to get himself into third place. Nicholas Scholl now goes to the lead. More action, plenty within this senior race compared to the juniors, and there's nothing to choose between the top 5 carts that head through the final corner. Slightly wide there from Glenn Van Parijs, who's going to be passed by 202, which is Rinus van Kamphout. In there as well is going to be Adrian Renner down in 224, the all blue machine down towards the first corner. Again, we're not too sure where to look here because there's so much going on. Now bring into the mix 223, which has come from again lower down. That's Tommy Drouet, the Iceman, up into 7th place. And who did we lose on that first lap? I don't know if I want to look at the timing screen just yet, but I will have to do so. Berke Besler was one of those we lost, and the other one was Charlie Turner from the 3rd row of the grid. So those two were in the melees. Also Jack McCarthy has dropped down to 25th position, but has previously made up a position on that last lap, so he's clawing his way back through. Jordan Brown-Nutley at the end of the first lap was up to 18th place, so this is looking very strong for Jordan. I'm just wondering if he's in this first train of the leading pack. I think he's just a little bit back at the minute, but definitely as the race unfolds he could get himself closer and closer towards the front guys. In fact, he leads the next train, which he's clear of now, so Jordan Brown-Nutley is up ahead of the rest of the field, and there is a good scrap going on for what's going to be 3rd place, as being pushed wide there was Sam Marsh. Rinus van Kamphout came through, so did Gary Donnelly in 266. He's now made it up into 4th position. And then behind that we have the likes of Felix Varga, Tommy Drouet, Josh Skelton. The list goes on and on and on for the top 10 positions. Back to the leaders we now turn, which again is fairly close between Nicholas Scholl and Ed Brand. What a turnaround this would be for Ed this weekend if he can get himself past Nicholas Scholl and win this senior final. As we said, he always does well here in Genk, but didn't look like he was doing any better than previous years before today, but all of a sudden he's burst into a ray of sunshine once the sun has popped its way through. So Ed Brand is 2nd, still sits behind Nicholas Scholl. Those two are broken away now by a good second or so over the rest of the pack. 3rd is Rinus van Kamphout, 4th is Gary Donnelly, 5th is Sam Marsh, again who is under attack into the first corner. 6th place is Tommy Drouet, and 7th is Felix Varga, as Ed Brand looks for a lead change on Nicholas Scholl, who still is defending fairly well as they work their way out of turn 3 and down towards the hairpin at turn 4. There's another change for 3rd place because now Gary Donnelly has got himself onto the overall podium. Can Rinus fight back at turn 5? No, he can't. He still sits there behind the top 3 men. I was just going to say, if Ed Brand and Nicholas Scholl continue to fight, they're going to be joined by some very quick guys indeed if they don't get on with the job in hand. So Ed Brand needs to either help out Nicholas Scholl here or get the job done. He's only got 2 options really as he comes through on towards the final corner at turn 10. Down through the right hand of the head. Still no change between those two. No further changes further back, although under pressure now is going to be Jess Backman, who again has made up great progress. She came from what was 10th row of the grid, 19th place in this one. She's now into 8th position, so her target has been set and she's got herself inside the top 10, but can she win the race? That was her target. 2 into the pit lane, by the way, 220, which is going to be David Remy, and 230, which is Paul Everard. Both of those are out of this race now, along with Lucas Bryan, by the looks of it, down in 34th place. Top 2 go through. There's the fight for 3rd between Gary Donnelly and Rinus van Kamphout. Slight gap back to Sam Marsh in 5th. Tommy Drouet is still 6th, and then the home hero Felix Varga is in 7th with the ever hounding Jess Backman on his tail in 8th position. So lots going on between those two as they come down towards the final corner. The 2 leaders just about to enter that now through the right hander on towards the straight once more. 6 laps about to be completed. We've now got 11 to go as Nicholas Scholl gets his head down. Ed Brand sits nice upright, not worried about the aerodynamic advantages of leaning over in that kart, so he stays within touching distance of Nicholas Scholl. Good line there, using all of the curb, which is all important here. Not too much to be fair, because they are quite high in Belgium, but definitely use as much as you can, and Ed Brand has the line very nicely sorted at this minute. Gary Donnelly still under attack from the 4th place man, which is Rinus van Kamphout. That is the fight for 3rd, you can see now on your screens. Again, nothing to choose between those two as they work their way through the exit of turn 6 on towards the hairpin of turn 7, and the 4 carts you can just see behind them are Tommy Drouet, Sam Marsh Felix Varga and Jess Backman in the all blue and white cart there, and then you can see 3 more, and there very shortly should be Jordan Brown-Nutley coming into the mix. He's in 14th place, and he, I can tell you, he's near enough on the back of Glenn Van Palace now, so he's almost within touching distance. He should be able to get inside the top 10, but can he get himself onto the podium? I think that would be just rewards for him, but it's a long way off with this race still carrying on. Not yet a half race distance, so plenty of time to go for Jordan Brown-Nutley, who's down there in 14th place. There is the fight for 3rd, which is still between Gary Donnelly and Rinus van Kamphout, who I thought was going to look for a move there, but didn't quite get the nose tucked down the inside at turn 4. Slight gap just starting to form now between Nicholas Scholl, the race leader, and Ed Brand in 2nd, but it all depends on who has used their tyres to the best of this first half of the race. If you've kind of kept them clean, then you've got a lot more to play with in the second half. But Ed Brand, of course, has come through from 11th on the grid. Nicholas Scholl started on pole, so he hasn't worked them too hard. I just wonder if Ed Brand will now start to fall his way back in the field. Probably not. He's a quick racer, is Ed. As we said, one of his favourite tracks. He had a brief look over the shoulder there just to see who's on his tail. I can tell you, Ed, is Gary Donnelly, who now looks for a move down the inside line. He'll let him go on this occasion, and he'll have to do so because otherwise he'd have been under attack from Rinus van Kamphout as well as they exit turn number 2. Up towards the hairpin at turn 4 again. He needs to go defensive to Zed because down the inside line goes Rinus. Last year's runner-up in seniors has gone through, and also now Tommy Drouet is looking for a move. So just as we thought Ed Brand may start to drop back, that is now becoming very clear indeed. Sam Marsh goes through, and that's then followed by Felix Varga as well. So just like that, Ed Brand has seen himself fall from 2nd down to what's going to be possibly 7th place. So Ed Brand, a bad lap number 9 for him, which is not going to please him whatsoever. The fight for 3rd place is now on. Rinus van Kamphout and Tommy Drouet, and then Sam Marsh and Josh White are in 5th and 6th places. Just wonder if anyone can catch our race leader as they go through. Strawberry Racing's Nicholas Scholl leads the way. His teammate Gary Donnelly is behind him in 2nd position. Good fight for 3rd though. Here it is, down towards the first corner. That is Rinus van Kamphout. Still in there as well, Tommy Drouet. Where's Ed Brand gone to? Even further back now. He's down just in front of Noah Ruvers. And in fact he's now behind Noah Ruvers into 9th place, so it gets worse and worse for Ed. He's under attack from Jess Backman, Dennis Mavlinov, Josh Skelton, Glenn Van Palace, and also Jordan Brown-Nutley, who are all there within that train. So watch out for those 9 or 10 carts, which are now through turn 6 on towards the hairpin at turn 7. We are at halfway distance now. We're on lap number 10 of this race. Quite a few blue and white carts within the field. There, going through the picture, is Jordan Brown-Nutley. That is cart 252. He finds himself now down in still 14th place and struggling to catch up with the rest of the field now. So Jordan has to think about what's going on. Side by side, a little bit further down there between the likes of Ed Brand, I think that was, who was under attack again from more of the quicker guys, starting to work their way through. No change for the top 2. It's this battle for 3rd place, which is fairly interesting at the minute between Rinus van Kamphout, who's got 5 carts behind him. One of those looking to make a move is Josh White, who gets down the inside of Sam Marsh, and with him goes Tommy Drouet by the looks of it. In fact, that was Josh White getting past Tommy Drouet. Sam Marsh was then just a little bit further back. There he is in 205. He's got Felix Varga, who now looks for the inside line at turn 7 and goes through. So does 226, which is, no, in fact, that's 253, which is now Ruvers. He's got himself past Jess Backman. So Jess is now down to 9th, and Josh Skelton rounds out your top 10. Again, hopefully you're all keeping up with this race so far, which is pretty eventful. Outside the top 2 places, which still is led by Nicholas Scholl, who is now ahead by 7/10 of a second as he works his way onto lap number 11. There we can see Rinus van Kamphout. We've got Josh White on his tail now. Watch out for Josh. A potential, definitely podium finisher within this one. But can he get any higher than 3rd place if he gets past Rinus? He goes down the inside line. The Coles Racing man gets through now up into 3rd position. So Josh puts the thumb up to say to Rinus, come on, I'm sorry, but we need to get on with this one. The top 2 again are starting to gap us. The gap now sits at 1.5 seconds. So Josh now will try and get his head down and see if he can catch up with the top 2, and he's going to take with him possibly Rinus van Kamphout and also Tommy Drouet, who have broken away from Sam Marsh. He's now got 5 or 6 cars behind him. Felix Varga is one of those, the home hero this weekend, trying to push through as much as possible. but at the minute it's stuck down there in 7th place. So on towards lap 13 we now head. There is your fight for 3rd. Now sees a new man up there. Josh White has got through. Rinus is 4th. Tommy Drouet is 5th. They're still just being caught there by Sam Marsh, who hasn't let them go as of yet. Felix Varga is in that black and orange kart. And then there's a gap between himself and Denis Mavlinov, who again has made up places from lower down on the grid. He started 23rd, and Denis Mavlinov is up into 8th position. So a job well done for him. Glenn Van Parijs has dropped from his starting position down to 9th, and Josh Skelton still inside the top 10. Jess Backman now down to 11th. Now Rivers is 12th. He's had a bad. Utley from near enough the back has upped his game and got up into 13th place there. So there he is, 252. Just head through your picture. The green and white colours of Strawberry Racing for Jordan. Next on his list, by the way, is Josh Skelton, so we'll see if he can get that one done. Nicholas Scholl still leads though. The gap remains 7/10 of a second at the end of lap number 13. Gary Donnelly can't quite keep with him at the minute. Well, he is, but he's not making any inroads into that lead battle. So he sits in 2nd. This is 3rd. Josh White hasn't shaken off at all. Rinus van Kamphout, so the runner-up from last year, looking to go one better this year, but not the best of starts. Rinus has only clawed a 17th place from the pre-final, so not that many points, but definitely has worked his way through within this final now and sits on the balance of getting himself onto the podium if he can work his way back past Josh White. So down towards turn number 8 there now heads. Slight jink there, he kind of thought about it but then stayed in line, did Rinus in 4th place. Just lets Josh White continue on his way. I wonder if they are just working together now to try and catch the top 2. The gap last time round was 1.4 seconds. Already on this lap it's come down to 1.3. Can it be any lower between the top 4 karts? Yes it can, 1.2 now it comes down to. But that does also mean that Gary Donnelly has nearly fallen a second adrift of Nicholas Scholl. So Nicholas is looking good for his 2nd victory of the year. He took the win at the Winter Cup, and it looks like it's all coming good at the first round proper as well here in Belgium. Through onto the back straight he's gone, down towards turn number 5. Followed by still Gary Donnelly, 3rd and 4th Josh White and Rinus van Kamphout, who again fairly close through the right-hander at turn 6. Can Rinus go for a lunge? No, not this time round. He is being kept at bay by Josh White in 3rd place. There's the next 2 in line as well, which is Sam Marsh and Tommy Drouet. And then the next 3 behind that are Felix Varga, Denis Mavlinov and Glenn Van Parijs, with Jess Backman now back inside the top 10. So her target of a top 10 finish is still well and truly on, but can she make any more gains on those ahead? We are on to lap number 16, just now 2 laps to go. It's looking very positive for Nicholas Scholl out front. Gary Donnelly is still 2nd. This fight for 3rd place is still not over between Josh White for Coles Racing and 202, which is Dams Racing's Rinus van Kamphout. He tries a different line in towards the hairpin, which could just work now as he gets the cut back. He outsmarted Josh White, so alongside they go down towards turn number 5. And Rinus, can he be later on the brakes in towards the right-hander? Yes, he can. He gets up now onto the podium, just last year's runner-up. He's now got Josh White to try and defend, which has been done over the last 5 or 6 laps. And watch out guys, because you've still got the very quick Sam Marsh and Tommy Drouet to look to make a move as well before this race comes to a conclusion. But Nicholas Scholl works his way down towards the final corner with just 1 lap now to go. Is he going to make it a double victory for 2016 after a win at the Winter Cup? He's now just got 1,300 metres to go around this Genk track to see if he can take another win. The Austrian, through the corner he goes at turn 1. The gap out in front now between himself and Gary Donnelly is 1.1 seconds, so it continues to grow. There is still your fight for 3rd place, which continues its way now on towards the left-hander at turn 3. Josh White will try and do a Rinus move at turn number 4, but I don't think he's quite got the cut back there. So Rinus defends down towards turn 5. Can Josh White go all the way around the outside at turn 5? There's contact between the 2, and that wasn't really going to work for Josh White. He just got himself on the wrong line into the corner, and the front end of Rinus's cart came out, and it does mean he drops way down the field, although Rinus has held on to his 3rd place for now, although he's still under attack from Sam Marsh, Tommy Drouet and Felix Varga in towards the last couple of corners. But into that last corner has come Nicholas Scholl on towards the start finish line. It was a win in pre-final and a win in the final. It's a back-to-back win, just like the juniors, as Nicholas Scholl comes through. Oh, well, there's more drama as Josh White's gone off again. He's come straight back on the start finish line at the opposite side of the track there. So bad last lap for Josh White, which could have been a podium. it's going to result in a DNF for him. Meantime, Nicholas Scholl is your victor. Gary Donnelly gets second. There you can see in the background Josh White. Third place on the podium as well for Dams Racing's Rinus van Kamthort. Fourth place was Sam Marsh. Fifth place for Tommy Drouet. Felix Varga comes home sixth place on his home circuit. And then behind that, Dennis Mavlanov, 16 places gained throughout that race. Great job from him. Glenn Van Pellies was 8th. Ninth place for Jess Backman, so she did achieve her target of a top 10 finish. Not the win she was after, but a top 10 will do her very nicely indeed. Josh Skelton was then 10th. Ed Brand came to 11th in the end, so his pace did drop off towards the latter stages of that one. And then 12th place was Luke Verlelms to round out the first page of our results from that senior final, which was won by a very determined Nicholas Scholl here in Belgium.